Good afternoon, everybody. All right, we're on series episode number 5, and I'm going to be talking about practicing the truth. This is a good one. We all can do that. A little quote here, a line. Truth is not a concept. It is not an idea in a book or a rule written on paper. Truth is living force. And when we practice it, not just speak it, you unlock the kind of power that reshapes lives. Now, this tells us that the genius is not just about talent or inheritance. It's about one thing. And really, it's about practicing the truth on a day-to-day basis, daily. That's what we have to do. But here's a question, too. What does it mean to practice truth? Because you have to have a meaning behind this. And not to know it, not to talk about it, but to actually live it. Because truth that is not practice is only theory. And theory doesn't change lives. Truth is not far away. It's not something to chase. Truth is alignment with who you are, with freedom, with the expanding rhythm in the universe itself. So when we practice this alignment with truth, your life begins to move with a power greater than circumstance. Because what you're essentially doing is you're taking back your own power through truth. I mean, let's be honest about this, because we live in a world that's where the truth has been blurred. It's sometimes, I know for me, when I'm on any type of social media, you kind of have to stop for a moment and think, is this the truth? Like, is this clickbait? Are they saying it because they want more, ding-a-ling-a-lings, likes and bells ringing and, what? You have to stop for a moment, because we're so flooded with noise. We are. And opinions and misinformation and disinformation and endless content. It's so much content. And you have to be aware of the content that you're flooding your mind with. And the deeper problem is this. Even when truth stares us in the face, most humans don't know how to embody it. We're constantly protecting an image that we want to portray to maybe fit in, to be a part of a group or, a relationship or whatever. So you have to see, if you don't have that awareness, you're going to pretty much suck it all in. You're going to be like a sponge. And you have to be able to use critical thinking, critical thought, when this content is just spinning around us like crazy. And the key here is that truth must be practiced. That's really the truth, not theorized. I'm sure most of you would agree upon this, because, we're faced with a lot of, situations in this world. Sometimes the world feels a little bit fake to me. And I love the world. Trust me, I love life. But sometimes when the content and the information is flowing and I see a scenario, and I'm really good at pattern recognition, and I automatically just go right into it. It's kind of the gift I've had since I was very young. And it's only gotten stronger as I grow. And I see things that they don't make sense. And you can't be afraid to reject it, I guess is what I'm saying. You don't have to tell everybody, oh, I reject that, and, you know, go on Twitter X and start getting in fights with people. But within, you say, you know what? That didn't look right to me, or that doesn't, you know, seem correct to me. And you reject it within, and you don't allow it within your space. So think about it this way. Truth is like a muscle. It truly is. And if you never use it, it weakens. Just like if you exercise, your muscles grow. Well, practicing truth is the same. And that's why it's important to practice it on a daily basis. And really, practicing the truth means changing what you feel on purpose. That's really what it's about. Because, example, when fear comes, let's say, and truth says, you are free, and you practice by choosing freedom instead of fear. Right? And practicing truth means embodying that freedom. Not waiting for permission, not asking if you're allowed, but living as if you already are free, because you are. And then practicing truth means living deliberately. Not drifting with the crowd, not repeating the program, but asking yourself, is this really me? Or is this conditioning? Because if you listen to something enough, you almost start to believe it. And part of the practicing of truth is to decipher this information, right? I mean, this is what intelligence does. You know, they have like a roadmap. There's a map to everything. That's why I love pattern recognition. If you teach your children this when they're like 3 years old, and you buy them puzzles, and you start, getting the puzzle, get something that they love, and you start doing puzzles together, the mind starts to shape in this mapping system. This is what I did, because my mom and dad didn't have a lot of money, and every Christmas I got puzzles. So I did a lot of puzzles. And it helps to shape that pattern deliberately, and that mapping. So every time you ask that question, you're practicing that truth, though. So let's ask it again. Is this really me, or is this conditioning? Those two questions right there are very, very important. You teach your children this early on. And then if we go deeper, truth is not comfortable. It's not. It just isn't. Because sometimes you have to tell somebody something that, like, hey, this is my truth. You don't have to agree with it, but these are some of the things I didn't like about this or that. And also being truthful just in socializing. You know, maybe you meet new friends and you have to like you're sitting around a table at dinner with new friends and they start saying things, and sometimes you have to come out maybe and say something, and maybe it won't be comfortable, but it's better to do that than you start a friendship with a bunch of girls or guys or whatever it is, and then you end up 6 months, you see that their integrity isn't intact, right? You don't want to stay 6 months and see that, they're not right. I mean, I'm not saying, don't give them a chance, give them the benefit of the doubt, but after 3 hits where they're just like, they're saying things and you're like, it doesn't align with your truth. That's what I'm talking about. Alignment. And that's okay. Not everybody's supposed to be in your life. So, truth isn't comfortable, but it demands courage. It's very important to teach your children this. Why? Because to live in truth means you will no longer fit into all the lies. You won't. You no longer will be a part of that group. Because if it's, kind of what's happening with the Charlie Kirk, and I don't really want to bring that up because I don't think it's, appropriate, but just one thing is there's so many people chasing tails right now. This and that, this scenario over here and that. To me, that's a problem. I think the writing's on the wall, and that's how I look at it. I backtracked all his videos for the last 6 months, and I saw a pattern, and the recent people that have been in his life in the last 3 months, and I mean, it's not too hard to map this out, in my opinion, but you can't get in, all the videos circulating. What I say is this: all the videos that are circulating right now about that scenario, you don't try to fit into one of the stories. You have a mind of your own. Figure it out. I like that guy because you know what? I feel like he's truthful. Maybe he's not truthful. And you have to decipher information. It's so important. These drops that came out in October 28th of 2017, I followed a lot of people and I listened to a lot of people, but I'll be honest, there was not that many people, like 2 people that I thought had the drops right, because all the drops were opposite. Because everything's inverted. So you have to realize how the world works with truth. And the reason why I bring this up, because it's so important. I mean, all you have to do is watch that movie, The Orient Express, where it's a mystery murder. And you think, okay, 10 minutes in, okay, that person did it. And oh my God, no, wait, that person did it. And by the end, it was a completely different person. The truth. So I think it's important to gather your own energy and practice your own truth deliberately. Because you're giving away your most miracle. You're a miracle. Your mind and your brain and your heart, it's all connected, and you have all of the answers within you. You do already. But what you do is you second guess yourself, and then you end up going and listening to, somebody over here or somebody over there. And then it stomps out all that you already know inherently inside of you. So The thing is, because I'm going to go back, because to live in truth means you will no longer fit into the lies. You won't be able to pretend anymore. You won't. And you won't be able to stay silent where others comply. This is so important. I hope a lot of political people and military people watch this, because the thing is, we have been brainwashed in this construct to fit in and to go along to get along. And no one's better than me at pattern recognition than, I'm great at it. It's a gift. And I look at everything. And you can develop that too, but you can't have a lot of noise. That's why many avoid it. They avoid being courageous and practicing the truth and being truthful, because they're not able to not fit in. And living in truth is costly. It's costly. Look at Charlie. I think he found out something, and because he's not, I don't know him, but after studying him, and I've been following him for years, since 2017, and he liked my my startup, O'Mara Home, and he followed it and stuff on Instagram, and then that's how, because I always used to look who's following us and what do they do, and but I would watch, I watched both sides, left and right and center and up and down and everything, and I can get a good caption on things. And he's a man that he believes in what he believes in, and he doesn't believe in dodging truth. I can tell you that. Whether he's right or wrong, or people have a different view and they think this and that, you have to have your own truth, and you have to ride that within with yourself. And it can cost relationships, it can, and it will. Friends, family, lovers, husbands, wives, and comfort, approval. This is what I see in politics. A lot of people are, I don't know, I won't say it, but they don't have the courage, because they want approval so bad that they're willing to lie. And that's what I believe. There's some people that, I follow, and I know they're gay, and I don't even care, but they want to be in politics, and they don't want to come out and say, but why not? Why wouldn't you want to come out? Why would you want to be a fraud and not come out and just tell people? But you want to get into politics? Why would you do that? Who cares? You just come out and you're honest, and people respect that, instead of hiding behind the wall. And these are the things that I look at, and it's so obvious. My best friend Polly, that I've known since I was little and had my first communion at St. Boniface in Anaheim. And he was gay, and he went to Servite. It's a boys' Catholic school. And we talked about this all the time. And, you have to be on. How do you expect, if you can't be honest and truthful and practice truth, and you want to be in a big position in politics, but you can't be truthful? How will that work out? Think about it. It's not going to. Eventually, it's like the Godfather movie. You always get caught. That's why it's not worth lying, right? But here's the paradox. The cost of not living in truth is far greater. And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, there's so many movies to watch, and you could just, the plot. I mean, there's a pattern to movies. This is how movies are made. There is a pattern, and they follow this pattern because you can pretty much figure out an individual, because most people do the same thing over and over and over. Now, people can change. I'm not saying that, but, people have a pattern. So when you ignore truth, you live in someone else's life, right? You do. You live someone else's life, excuse me. You die with your song still inside of you. You live in denial of the genius that was always within you when you start to BS yourself or BS other people, whatever that is that you do. And that's not living, that's existing. It is. That is not living. It's existing in a big fat lie. And that's why this series is not really going to be about, 10 steps to success. I think it's great that other people are doing that, and it's very useful, but success without truth is empty. That's why, people say, well, I did those 10 steps, but it didn't work. Well, are you being honest? Are you being truthful? There's a lot of crooks out there too that follow 10 steps and are successful. I get it, but I'm talking overall as a community, as a global community, that it has to stop one day. And if a house is built on sand, the moment pressure comes, it collapses. And this is what we're all watching it in politics. The Epstein list. How come that's not being released? We want it released. Or is it a fraud? What's going on? But a life built on truth, that's unshakable, because truth is reality. And truth is alignment with the invisible expansion of the universe itself. It is. And that's where you want your mind to be. But like I said at the beginning, there's a lot that's blurred, and there is an energy that I see, because there is an invisible pattern that it's invisible. But if you're very aware and you're good at pattern recognition, you can see the invisible power that hasn't been spoken. Like within politics, for some reason, I don't really, I don't want to say I'm into it, but I was before, but I still kind of watch some of it because I want to see who's lying and who's telling the truth. And if everything is blurred and there's no, this has been going on for forever too. There's no, definite. You never catch the crooks. You never catch the criminals. You never catch the, this and that. And it's always up in there. Well, it's being hidden because they don't want to expose it. It's so easy to me. It's black and white. So let's do the what if challenge. And I want everybody to think about this, because you're giving away your beautiful, beautiful power to a bunch of nitwits and a bunch of people who lie for a living. And it's time to stop it and get on with your life, and don't give your energy to, even if you believe them like you've never believed it, Go within. The what if challenge. So let's ask this. What if truth, or what truth are you ignoring in your life right now? A truth about a relationship, a truth about a career, a truth about your own power. This is where I think most people are at. And relationship too. I think a lot of people, like hardly anybody, is in a spiritual relationship. They're in a relationship, a marriage that is, they stay because the husband makes a lot of money or whatever, the wife maybe makes a lot of money, or, you know, because it's easier to stay together than to, you know, split up and all that stuff. So what would happen if today you stopped running from it and started practicing it? So each day you take a step towards practicing truth. What if you chose to embody freedom instead of waiting for someone to give it to you? What if you decided that your life will no longer be lived in denial, but in truth? Deliberately, consciously, and courageously. That's what I say. You decide that you no longer live a life in denial. That right there will change your entire life. The universe will open up possibilities that will be so beautiful. Because when you practice truth in life, life changes. Not someday, but immediately. Your energy shifts, your choices shift, people around you feel it, and suddenly the world you thought was solid, the program, begins to collapse. And that's when you break the code. See, truth is the code breaker. And that's what people don't realize. People are trying to do clever little things over here and clever over there and clever over there. And they wind up right back at the spot that they started. And they, oh, I don't know what I did. Well, maybe you should say the truth and start living in a truthful way. So, and when it collapses, what's left is the purest reality. And that's your genius. And that's when everything becomes clear. So, the truth is this, is that genius is not given by fate. Genius is practice. Truth is not theory. Truth is a way of being. And when you practice truth, you align with the invincible power of an expanding universe. And you'll never be the same. You'll lose probably a lot of, friends and things like that, because if you're around people that, want to bullshit a lot, BS a lot, they don't like to be around light and truth. I noticed that. They don't like that. They just, they feel uncomfortable because, you're not in the club any longer, and which is fine. I mean, it's fine. So you're already free. You're already genius. Now go out and make life happen. Thanks, everybody. This is a long video. It's almost 30 minutes, but I think it's worth it to watch the whole duration. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.